Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top ways that my family and I are affording groceries right now. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in and make yourselves comfortable. I am a self-proclaimed budget queen. I make lots of content that is about budget lifestyle, so if you're into that type of thing, make sure you hit subscribe. If you're not new here, welcome back. I have made a video like this in the past, I think more than once, but if you live in the world, then you know that groceries just keep kind of getting more expensive and life is getting kind of tough. So I have actually changed my lifestyle, the way I shop, the way we do groceries quite a bit over the last year or so. And so I thought we would make an updated one because I have new hacks, I have new tips, I have discovered new things that is helping my family save. So I thought I would share. Okay, the first new sort of tip hack for grocery saving that I've come across, and I was turned on to this on TikTok actually, and it's an app called Flash Food. And it's not available like in all stores everywhere, but definitely give it a try. I'll leave like a referral code down below. This is not sponsored, but I have turned a ton of my friends onto this app. Again, I saw it on TikTok, I downloaded it, I gave it a go, and it totally is great for me because all of the Meijer stores in my area participate. I do live in Michigan, and what they do is they take like food that's about to go bad, or like, I don't know, sometimes it doesn't look like it's about to go bad, even it's just like regular food, and they'll put it into these bags. At least at my Meijer, they put them in bags with numbers on them, and you can look at the app and see what's in the bag, and you go up to like customer service and pick your bag, and the ones at my Meijer are all $5. And it is a crazy cheap way to get tons of great produce, and you never know what's gonna be in there. I look on the app like almost every day to see what they have. I'm not buying a bag every day, but sometimes like they'll just have stacks of like veggie trays that are about to go bad and they're all $2. So that is an amazing way to get produce, because for us, produce is one of those things that is just like crazy expensive around here. So we've really tried to get creative with how we get our produce, but I've been really happy with this so far. So definitely check out if they have Flash Food, the app, available. Any stores in your area are using it. And speaking of expensive produce, my next tip, you guys, we are growing so much of our own food, and this is the perfect time of year to tell you to grow your own food. Now, I understand that once you get into like the gardening section of YouTube and various other media outlets, it can seem really expensive. You got your garden beds and your fertilizer, you're buying your own compost, you're doing all this stuff. You can garden in a very expensive, not economical way, but you also can, you know, do it for cheap. We grow our own potatoes, and we use potatoes that I actually use it from a Flash Food bag. There was a couple like wrinkly little potatoes in there. I was like, perfect, I'll let the eyes grow, and I planted those, and it cost me next to nothing to plant those potatoes. I've planted them in laundry baskets in the past. This year we do have garden bags, but you can also just plant them in the ground. That is a great sort of, you know, way to save money. Over here in this corner, you see I've got all of my little seeds started. Buying like plants in a nursery can get expensive, so I like to start my seeds, because you can get seeds for like $1 or $2 for a pack of seeds. They're so cheap. I actually follow a gardener here on YouTube called the MI Gardener. He's based here in Michigan, and he's got a whole line of seeds that are all $2 a piece. And he's a small business. I love supporting him. I will leave a link to his YouTube channel down below. I've definitely talked about him before on this channel. He's definitely inspired me to learn more about how to grow my own food. And that leads us into the next one, which is, this is something I've talked about so extensively on this channel that it's probably getting annoying. And that is my food saver. I'm obsessed with my food saver. I love it. And I actually have used it for a lot of garden veggies from last year. Anything that we just like could not consume, I just like diced up all my peppers, threw them in a food saver bag, sucked all the air out, threw them in the freezer. That is the best way to save money, is not wasting things. Being able to freeze things like in a fresh way, it's the best. And actually, my food saver is not a food saver brand. It's like an off brand. I got it on Amazon. I will leave a link to the one I have down below. But I use it for all sorts of things, for meat, for leftover like food. Like if we do like pulled pork in the smoker, I'll section off like sandwich size amounts of pulled pork, and I will vacuum seal them and throw them in the freezer. This saves me so much money, and it's also a way to just preserve things that are on sale. If I get a ton of food on sale, I'm going to package it all up in the food saver and throw it in the freezer. And that leads us into our next tip, which is buying clearance food. Because I often do use the food saver on the clearance food, but there are several hacks within this one that I want to give you. First of all, you have to go grocery shopping more than like once every 2 weeks or whatever. You have to go all the time if you want to get the good deals. I fortunately do have a flexible schedule, so I'm able to pop into Aldi twice a week. And that's how you find those great red tags, those 50% off, $2 off. I am hardly ever using meat that I pay full price for. And if you go more often, you just have more of a chance of getting those great deals. If you go on a weekend, you're gonna have less of a chance of getting those red stickers at Aldi. I find, especially in the afternoon, all those have been like sort of cleared out. So going in the week for me, a couple times, I usually find those really great deals and I get so excited. I have like 6 racks of ribs that I got for 50% off in my freezer right now. Love that. Other than Aldi, I also find really good like red tag meat items and stuff at Meijer. They often will have like a lot in the fish area that they're trying to get rid of. And I scored a ton of really cheap fish the other day, threw it right in my freezer. We'll have fish tacos many evenings because of that haul. I also randomly stumbled upon one day at Gordon's, GFS, Gordon Food Service. I don't know if they are throughout the whole country or not, but basically it's like a restaurant type store that you like buy things to like prepare food for a restaurant, but you do not need a membership. It's like a Sam's Club vibe, but maybe like a little bit more like restaurant supply-y than Sam's Club, but you don't need a membership to go into a GFS. Anyone is welcome, and they have a section, a freezer section and a clearance food section, and honestly, I've gotten some crazy good deals with the clearance food there. One time we got, because they sell things by like the giant case, I got a case of biscuits. There was like 250 biscuits in there for like $25. And we came home, we packaged them all up, and I use them for all sorts of things. And speaking of clearance food, that leads us to our next tip, and that is if you have an Ollie's, you better go there and buy some weird food. Now, Ollie's is this great discount store, and you never know what you're gonna find in there. I have found the most random weird stuff in that place. And you never know. If you have an Ollie's, you must go to it. And if you don't, I'm really sorry, but if you find one someday, somewhere, make sure you go in and check it out because it's totally weird. So they buy like massive quantities of like overstock items. With the food, you do have to be careful. Make sure you're looking at your expiration dates. I've made a few mistakes there in the past, but generally I get all my protein bars, sometimes at Aldi, but a lot of times at Ollie's because I eat a ton of protein bars. And for those like really high protein bars, they can be so expensive. And I kind of have it in my head that I won't pay more than like $1 per bar. And that can get tough. But usually at Ollie's, I can find great deals on like overstock protein bars. For a while, they had these like cases of Cliff Bars for like 12 bucks for like 25 Cliff Bars. And I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. So I have a couple of those stashed away. But I find lots of other food items there as well, not just bars. They've usually got really good deals on like salty snacks, tons of spices, lots of like canned goods and non-perishables. So like that is a really good way to maybe not go every week. I pop in there just like when I'm on that side of town and just see what I find, and I stock up on our favorite protein bars and salty snacks. They do have, right now they've got this really good like roasted like corn flavored popcorn, and it's so good. So I always get that when I'm in there as well. And my next discount store, obviously this one is just local to me, but you need to go to Google. After you're done with this video, go to Google and find out if there are any outlet stores near you that sell food. When I was young, we used to go to the Pepperidge Farm outlet store. It wasn't that far from us, like a 45-minute drive. And if we were out in that like mall area, we would always stop at the Pepperidge Farm outlet store. And you can get a bunch of crazy products for crazy cheap at these outlet stores, like the food outlet stores. Because like the big trucks that go and distribute all the food, like even Pepperidge Farm, it's like not just cookies, it's like a lot of other stuff too. And on their route returns, like they bring back maybe bread that's like about to expire, maybe bread that's been crushed, cookies that like all have a dent in the side of them, stuff like that, and you can get them for like a quarter. We have one in my area, we have a bread outlet store, it's an Aunt Millie's, the bread store. This is like one of my favorite things to do because they have a table where everything on it is 50 cents. And the other day I went and they just had bagels. Just boatloads of bagels for 50 cents. I bought like, I don't know, 10 packs of bagels. I throw them in the freezer every couple of days. One of my sons, he eats a bagel every single day. So once a week, I just go into the freezer and I grab another roll of bagels, and it costs me next to nothing. They also have other items there, sometimes that aren't the best deal, but are still kind of fun. A lot of times after school, I'll pick up my boys and I'll say, who wants to go to the bread store? And we go to the bread store and I let them pick out stuff. They always pick like a moon pie, or they have like candy and snacks there as well. But the bread is the best deal. Like, you should not be paying boatloads of money for bread. And speaking of bread, I also make a lot of bread. So my next tip hack is cooking from scratch more often. And I know that that's not always the best deal depending on how valuable your time is. For me, I do have the time, and it is worth it for us to make a lot of our food from scratch. I do things like make my own muffins for the kids, like mini muffins. They love those little packs of muffins, but they're so expensive. I can just make muffins. Like, muffins are not that expensive to make, especially if you're being smart about how you buy your ingredients. And I have to show you this. One second. Okay, so a couple of months ago, I started buying my flour in bulk, and I went to a website called the Webstaurant store, and I got this container. It was like 15 bucks. It was not that expensive to store flour in. So it's like what supplies you would find at a bakery. And it fits a 25-pound bag of flour, which Sam's Club sells bread flour, which is the good stuff, higher protein content, better for all of your baked goods, unless you're making like a delicate cake or something. Anyway, bread flour. It's at Sam's Club. 25-pound bags of bread flour is like $11, which is so cheap. Do you have any idea how many loaves of bread you can make with 25 pounds of bread flour? And not just bread. Obviously, if you're getting your bread from the bread store, I make all sorts of other things: tortillas, flatbreads, pasta. I am making all sorts of stuff with this flour, and it's crazy cheap. You can make so much food with this. And obviously, if you have the time, use it. Use your time. Make your own muffins, make your own things, and be smart about how you're sourcing your ingredients, because 11 bucks for 25 pounds of flour, that's insane. That's my tortillas cost me fractions of pennies. So it's a good deal. And speaking of sourcing your ingredients for cheap, this comes to my last tip, which I know is very specialized to someone like me and definitely isn't a good fit for everyone, but that is, we raise a lot of our own meat. It is worth noting that I live right in the city. I do not live out on a farm. I don't have acreage. I have a corner lot with a nice front yard and just enough backyard space to have a few chickens. And we do this every year. Oh, but we raise meat chickens. So we get them at Tractor Supply. They're about $2 per bird. The food is not that expensive. It's about, I don't know, $20 a bag. And we go through about, I don't know, 8, I'm not gonna do all the math in front of you right now. It is a good deal. Once you have the initial investment of the coop, which can be expensive, however, we got one on Amazon. I will leave a link to the coop that we have down below, especially because we do meat birds, so they only live for 8 weeks. We don't have to plan for years worth of housing for them. They don't need to make sure that we have things winterized, because we only do it for 8 weeks. So that makes it really less of an investment in their housing. But I will leave a link to the coop we have for the chickens down below. And we do pay to get them processed, so it does cost a little bit there. But when we go to our farmer's market, which we really enjoy doing in the summer, to get a free range organic chicken, it's $7 to $10 per pound to get a chicken. And our chickens, when we get them processed, they come back to us between 6 and 8 pounds. It's what, an $80 chicken? If I want to eat meat that is kindly raised, I have to pay $80 for a chicken. I can't do that. Even if you only have a little backyard, or you have the space to do 2 chickens, I think it's still worth it. Check with your local ordinances and everything. But most, a lot of cities allow a few chickens, and especially if they're meat birds, it's only 8 weeks. You could probably sneak one in there. Don't tell anyone I told you to do that though. Anyway, and in addition to the meat birds, we also do quail, and we use our quail for eggs. So between my bulk flour and the eggs that come from my quail, a lot of my pasta, tortillas, bread, it costs me so little, and that's so great. The quail are nice because there is not a limit, because they're not considered a farm animal in my area. And I know a lot of areas that don't allow chickens do allow quail. They're so cute. They're small. They don't smell bad. They're not loud at all. Some people even can successfully keep a couple inside in like a rabbit cage. So I know this one is not for everyone. Not everyone is gonna be like, great, I'm gonna be a quail mom now. But if it's something you've been thinking about, maybe this is your sign to give that a go, because we really enjoy it. And because, especially the quail, because they're so small, their enclosure was like, I think $150. Like, I will leave a link to the coop we use for the quail as well. That initial investment was very low compared to people who want to raise chickens for eggs. And there you go, you guys. Those are some updated hacks, tips, lifestyle changes that we have done to be able to afford groceries, because it is crazy out there right now. So if you have any other great ones, leave them down below. Let's start a discussion. Let's share all of our tips down below so that all of us can, you know, save more money, because it's wild out there and we're all just trying to stay alive and eat healthy food, and it just seems like it's getting harder and harder. So thank you guys so much for watching. Come on back for more content like this. Again, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.